big bucket. Right now we have rice pudding with our bulking tip. How many shows did you compete in naturally? Right, hello and welcome back to the YouTube. Did a full day of eating however long ago now, 6-7 weeks. That was a high day. So the way my meal plan looks right now is I've got a non-training day diet, which is the lowest. I've then got a regular training day diet, and I've got a high day diet, which I do twice a week. One on a back day, one on a leg day. Now, if you watched my last video, you know my split has just changed to basically push-pull legs, rest, repeat. It does also mean then that also once a week, I have a normal training day diet on like a back day, let's say. And that is today. It is normal training day, so it's not the high day. I've shown you that already. This is just regular training day. All my meal plans vary day to day in regards to certain meals. Kyle, my coach, is a big advocate of multiple options, which in fairness, I'm not that arsed about personally. I mean, it's nice, especially at this stage in the off-season when food is pretty high. I wouldn't exactly say I'm hungry all the time at this point. I'm a little bit sick of food. Not anywhere near like when you're like peak off-season, you wake up wanting to throw up. I'm not there yet. I'm just like, I could easily go all day and not want to eat, basically. I have to set a reminder on my phone to remind me it's time to go and eat. So that's where we're at, but that's kind of where you are going to be in the off-season, especially when we're trying to put on the tissue that we are. So I'm 110.5 kilos this morning, which is going well. Can't complain. We're getting up there. We're probably going to max out around 250. But this year, because I maxed out at 250 last year, scraped it. There was one day that I woke up and I was over 250, and I've claimed it. But I definitely had like a fat off plan the night before. I was realistically sitting about 244 peak off season last year in significantly worse condition. I am like substantially leaner this year, which is pretty cool. I think as well last year there were certain variables in play that make you retain a lot of water and therefore give an illusion of that you've made more progress than you have perhaps, and when those things come out, you just lose loads of water weight, which is exactly what happened last year. This year, those variables aren't in play. So this is an actual 243, 244 of quality tissue. So yeah, I don't really want to put a number on how much weight I think I'm going to be up next time I step on stage, but I think it's going to be significant. Right, it is 9:20. Ate the first meal, then did some check-ins. Still got a copious amount of check-ins to do, but we need to eat some pre-workout and go and train. Get your flavour powder. I always use dark cookie salted caramel at the minute. Next up, we need some cinnamon. I don't weigh my cinnamon, but I just chuck a good amount on of Saigon cinnamon because it's better for your gut. Daily salt, probably 6 to 7 grams at the moment, roughly about 1 gram per meal, and then I do a little bit extra on this meal because it's pre-workout, and we all know that if you just have more salt in your pre-workout meal, you'll get like a few percentile better pump, but in your head it correlates to like, if you don't do 2 grams of salt pre-workout, there's no point even training because you won't get a good enough pump. But anyway, throw that all in there, and then just leave it a bit longer and it'll solidify. Best bit about rice pudding versus cream of rice is obviously the rice pudding itself is unflavoured. So you get a big bag of that, really cheap, with Code Eagles. And then you can just get an absolute shitload of different flavour powders. Right, next step for your rice pudding. Just weighing out the whey protein. Beautiful. Right, you put your whey protein in like a little pot. Get some water. Add a very small amount of water and then mix it and just make it into a whey paste. Alright, if you've watched prior full days of eating, you'll know I'm a big advocate of raspberries. I've run out of raspberries, it's a sad day. I've stolen frozen strawberries, which isn't quite as good. You don't need I shall put this in. There we go. Brilliant. Right, now we have our rice pudding with our frozen layer of fruit. I then get a bit more Saigon cinnamon and do a light dusting. If you're Erse, you call it a cinnamon carpet. I'm not, so I call it a light dusting. In other news, got the new AirPod Pro, whatever they're called, AirPod Pro 3s, I think they are. Whatever they are, they're fucking unbelievable. Had the original AirPod Pros, and I've used those for about 5 years, the exact same pair. I think they're the best headphone on the planet, right? No promo to Apple here, but they're fucking unbelievable. Mine, after 5 years, they still work just fine. It's just the transparency mode was pretty shit on them now. But these, the little new ones, you cannot hear a fucking thing. If you put noise cancelling on and like half volume on your phone, I can't hear anything. So, yeah, big fan of them. And they're 220 quid, which actually, for the quality headphone, I don't think is too bad. Right, better than these fuckers that are like 500 quid. And honestly, I'd prefer the little ones to these. So, yeah, if you need new headphones, go get the little ones. I think they've got better noise cancelling, in my opinion. They're mint. But yeah, right, I'm going to sit here, watch some golf and eat this bowl of fucking... It's just a bowl of muscle. It's just straight anabolic muscle growth. Meal devoured, very pleasant. It is now 20 to 10. Probably going to leave at about 10:30. Eating that about 80 minutes before I train. With pre-workout meals, what I'd say for people, like, I always get the question, like, when should I eat? And I know Samson, for example, he literally eats 10 minutes before he trains, which I could never do. I typically have to leave it a bit longer, which is why I'm like at the 90-minute mark. I think in a prep, I may eat it a little bit closer. But in prep, I'm usually training off one meal. So I normally eat my first meal at maybe 9, and then I'll go and train at 10. But in the off-season, I like to give it a little bit more, because I've had 2 meals ready today. I like to give it a bit of time to sort of digest and settle. And my intra is also substantially higher. So my intra is almost like another meal itself, right? It's 50 grams of carbs. And on the high day, which you saw before, I've actually got a very snack, I call it a snack, 2 squares bars, just before I train. So that's, yeah. So for where I'm at right now, 80, 90 minutes before training is perfect.
So yeah, pre-workout, fucking 9 sessions out of 10. I'm using Crank Golden Pump Pro with now Hydro Load as well, just for the added hydration element pre-workout. You know, the additional carbs, I don't mind it. This scenario, I just will take it for my intra. But yeah, so I find it benefits my session. I also don't mind having the 20 grams of carbs as I'm driving to the gym, because they're hitting as I start training. And then I've got the other 30 grams in my intra that I then drink throughout training that sustain me. So I find that's a pretty good blend. And I'm not getting too bloated at any point. And it sits really nicely, hydrates me, my performance is better because of that, my times are better, my strength's better. And it just sustains me a lot better if I do it that way around. So that's what I found. Intra-workout wise, I will bounce between elite aminos and just regular aminos. All it is EAAs. The elite aminos have a slight bit of added hydration in there, but because I'm having the hydration in the pre, it doesn't really matter too much. So EAAs intra-workout with cyclodextrin. As I just said, 30 grams intra. Total intra is 50 grams, but I do 20 pre, 30 intra. For me, that's the best way I found it. On leg days especially, you know, I find doing 50 grams intra carbs, whilst training legs, I just throw up. So if you are like that as well, I would suggest just try breaking it up a little bit, do a little bit pre, a little bit intra, and even if you have to then do a little bit when you finish training as well, if that sustains you better and ultimately you're not throwing up, then great. Because if you chug loads of intra and then throw it up, there was no point even chugging it in the first place. So you got to find what works for you. That's currently where I'm at. Works beautifully, have 0 complaints. So if you want the best flavour for EAs, right now my preference is the blackcurrant. But I bounce between that and the blue raspberry, which is also very nice. Now I've had a full week to run, sort of what was explained last week. I like it a lot. Feels very much what I'm used to. This and tomorrow's leg session, they're probably my 2 favourite sessions so far. Some of the push days I need to change around. Second leg day I need to change around. Just the order really. Stuff like I was doing stiff legs 3rd in my leg day on the weekend. And it just meant that after I'd done those stiff legs, I couldn't fucking move. So I want to move stiff legs to the end of the session so I can get the rest of the leg work done first. push, it's a similar thing with my delts. I want all my delt work to be at the end because I've got issues with my shoulders. If I train them early on, they get pumped and a little bit sore, and then I can't do any chest stuff. And if I do any chest stuff after training delts, I really can't engage my chest. I get all delt. So those are a few things that are just unique to me that I've learned from training over time. So small tweaks there, but overall very happy. I do have a call with Kyle this afternoon to go over those changes that I want to make. So I'm sure we'll discuss some other plans in that as well, which I will then talk about later in this video. But for now, I'm going to carry on lifting and get home to devour some post-workout.
We are back from the gym. I had to get back and jump straight on a phone call for 20 minutes with the guys at ESN. We've got a big bucket that looks very appetising. I am a bit sick of chicken at the minute, which is why I'm doing a lot more fish. I don't know why. Like the start of the off-season, I always prefer chicken because I'm hungrier. There's a bit more texture to it. It takes a bit longer to eat, and it's a bit more filling. I feel it digests a little bit slower. Then when I start to get a little bit meh with food, I'm not that hungry anymore. I then get sick of chicken. The texture just bugs me. It's not very nice. So that's when I then swap over to fish. So been on tilapia pretty consistently now for 3 or 4 weeks, and it kind of gives you a second wind because it looks like a lot of food. I'll eat this. This will digest within like fucking half an hour, and I'll be hungry again, ready for the next one. So it just allows me to pound through meal after meal really easily, and it doesn't sit heavy at all, basically. So I have got a phone call with Kyle in precisely 6 minutes. So we've got 6 minutes to get this down. Right then, it is 2 p.m. We're 3 meals down. I've just come off the phone with Kyle. Had a good chat for like half hour. Went through the entire split. So now that's all finalised. Pretty happy with that. I think the only thing we've changed is a bit more tricep on that push day that I said we need more tricep, and then a little bit more adductor, and then just move some bits around so that I'm not getting a crazy back pump and stuff, which is all good. Very excited for training. It's just doing 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off, absolutely crippled me. So we are adding an extra rest day. Rest of the day now, I've got some more check-ins to do this afternoon, got some steps to do, and we've got 3 more meals to eat, which I need to go and put on now because the next meal is fish and rice again. So the fish is already cooked. I just need to go and put more rice on for my later meal. And that is that. How old were you when you first competed? How many shows did you compete in naturally? So when I first started bodybuilding, I think I was right at the end of being 16-ish. First show was 17 and natural. My first prep I was 17, natural. I did 2 shows in that prep. One was a natural show, so if you're in the UK, I did UK Ifbb. That was my first ever show. Then the following week I did a different federation, which wasn't a natural federation, but I did it as a natural. And won both those shows. Then went into the off-season. And then when I was 18 is when I turned to the dark side following that. And the reason for that, just going into a bit more context, is I'd always say compete naturally first. Make sure you like it. Make sure you can prep and you actually enjoy prep before you make such a commitment as it is turning to the dark side. But I did that first. It was evident to me that I loved it, for one, and two, that I did have a future. I could make a career from it to a degree. Because I won, obviously, the overall at my first ever show, natural at 17. And then I won the following week in an untested show as a natural 17-year-old. I won then as well, against people who were assisted. You do as you please. Do I think anybody should go to the dark side? No. I think that's the best way to sum that up. From Adam, biggest thing that has progressed your physique through the years? It's just going to be consistency. I think you could be the obvious one and say, like, it is food and training, right? Obviously it is. And supplementation. I've been incredibly consistent. You know, all the off seasons have been nailed. All the preps have been nailed. And I think that's what's led to me making such good progress. And I think also, I don't know how to word this without sounding mega cliche, but always learning to a degree. Like, I was at 18 and yeah, sure, I thought I had a very good understanding of what needed to be done and my philosophies at the time on training and on nutrition. And now a few years later, I'm not going to sit here and say they're very different, but they've definitely evolved. And I think the minute you think you know it all, you're just going to hinder your own progress. You know, if you get locked into one mindset, like there's the debate at the minute of, I sort of touched on this in my last video, science-based lifting and meathead lifting. it's like if you just lock yourself away to one camp, you're not going to make as much progress as you could if you were open to all, right? Try different things. If it doesn't work, oh well. Like, the fun thing for bodybuilding for me is the journey. This is the process of going through it. It's not stepping on stage. I don't love stepping on stage. That's not why I do this. I love the process, the day-to-day of being in routine, of being structured, and doing small things that are going to equate to this big moment on stage. That's what I enjoy. So those two things combined is what's helped me make the progress that I have made over the years. Bulking tips for someone who has a hard time putting on weight from Jordan. Get a meal plan, right? If you have a hard time putting on weight, you probably have a hard time eating a lot of food, meaning that you could very easily go all day without eating. If you get a meal plan and you know you've got 6 meals to eat, you're going to eat them at 7 a.m, 10 a.m, and so on. Set reminders on your phone so that at those hours you have to eat. And then it's very simple. You're not thinking about it. You just know what meal you're eating and you know what time you have to eat it, and it takes the thought out of it. Right, that's number one. With the meal plan, find foods that digest well. That's, this is crucial. You'll notice I'm eating rice pretty much every carb source. It's either rice pudding or it's Rice Krispies, right? And that's because it digests so incredibly well for me that I can eat it, and within an hour of eating it, it's digested, it sits really light, and it's not heavy. If I went and ate 3 Costco muffins, sure, it's a lot of calories. They're very dense calories. But if I eat that, I'm not going to be hungry for the next 6 hours, right? And that goes for most calorie dense, shitter food sources. Bagels. If I eat a bagel, I'm not going to get hungry for a while. The gluten and everything like that is going to digest pretty slowly and going to sit pretty heavy in me. So don't necessarily just look for calorie dense things. I think that's a trap a lot of people fall into. They'll look at this tray of flapjack, it's got 1,000 calories in. Which, yeah, it does. One, they're not the best macro, not the best, nutrient sources. But also, if you eat that, you're going to struggle to eat after. It's why when I'm going for an off plan, typically my off plan will always be the last meal of the day. Because if I go and eat the McDonald's or if I go and eat a pizza, I'm not hungry after it for another meal. You don't want to go from eating a McDonald's to then eating a chicken and rice, right? You're just not hungry. So choose food sources that digest well and that you enjoy. Make your food taste nice. Make your chicken taste nice. Don't just eat. You don't have to eat plain fish and rice like I'm doing. If you struggle to eat that, don't fucking eat that. Go and get chicken. Maybe get some beef mince. Maybe do some pasta. Maybe do a beef mince and pasta with a bolognese sauce. If that's going to help you get the food down, it's still relatively clean. Go and do that rather than eating a plain chicken and rice. Hopefully that answers it. I'm going to do some work and then I'm going to get a really exciting, flavoursome meal that I really love. There we go, meal 4. Right now we have the rice I prepped earlier, some meal prep beef mince that was in the fridge. It is 10% fat beef mince. Nice, I'm going to go eat this. And then we have one more meal. The final meal is meant to just be, it's just programmed as another meat and rice, lean meat and rice. But I've got options, so I will obviously substitute that today for a rice pudding because I quite fancy another rice pudding. It'll be quite a pathetically sized rice pudding though, because there's not a lot of carbs in that meal. But it's better than nothing, so we'll take it. A bowl of what looks like soup because I made it very poorly. It is just literally whey, dark chocolate and rice pudding. I do anticipate food will need to go up soon. Carl and I were speaking about that today. I think I'm probably as near enough as sort of heavy as I'm going to get on the current food. The high days are great. This day particularly probably needs to increase. The high days are 5,300, I think, 5,400, somewhere around there. So they are a significant bit higher. It's like 200 grams extra carbs and slightly higher protein as well on the high days. We currently do 2 of those a week. So it may be a case of just adding a third one of those, or it may be a case of increasing this actual other training day baseline. That's up to him, I don't know, but whatever it is. More food will be necessary if we want to push on to 250, which we do, because current condition we're very happy with. And I do think 250's certainly there for the taking. The difficulty will come with the fact that I've got 2 more weeks here, and then we're traveling around America for 2 or 3 weeks. Staying on top of food there and keeping body weight high will probably be the issue, because steps will be significantly higher. For part of it, I'm in hotels with no cooking facilities. Majority of it is Airbnbs, but there is a couple of days in New York at the end where we are in a hotel with no cooking facilities. So that'll be challenging not to drop a load of weight whilst walking around New York. But we'll do what we can do. But yeah, that is it. This is what every day looks like currently for food. Pretty easy to get down, not the most challenging. Digest beautifully, staying nice and lean, not causing any inflammation anywhere, so zero complaints. Any videos you want to see particularly coming up, let me know. I don't have any direct plans for videos, but I do want to get some more out before I go over to America. Probably 1 or 2 more weeks of videos here. Probably be a training session, so if there's a specific session you want to see me hit, let me know and I'll do that and film that. But that is it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.